good evening and a very warm welcome to the Business Clinic series. Today's session and today's focus sector is furniture and home decor. I'm Sushma Murthania, your host for the evening. I'm the Director General of India SME Forum, and Business Clinic series is brought to you by the Forum for Internet Retailers, Sellers, and Traders. It is a division of India SME Forum formed in July 2021, launched on March 1st, 2023, primarily after the inclusion of retailers and traders in the official classification or definition of MSMEs. With Business Clinic, India SME Forum, and First intends to address challenges faced by this constituency in taking their business further and forward. In each episode of Business Clinic, we try to take up one focus sector. We invite experts and leaders, leading entrepreneurs in this sector, and we try to thrash out the challenges faced. We look at individual problems and we learn from experiences of these experts who have been there, done that, who have sometimes failed and again become successful when they have been at it. In today's sector, furniture and home decor, I would like to present a brief about this sector. Furniture and home decor sector constitutes 0.5% of India's GDP. Unlike most of the sectors that had a negative impact due to COVID-19, furniture and home decor sector had a positive impact since it led to a change in the perception of spending on home improvement and lifestyle. The size of the Indian furniture and home decor sector is worth about 15.79 billion USD and is expected to reach approximately 26.85 billion US dollars by 2028. The global furniture and home decor sector is valued at 1,272 billion US dollars and is expected to grow by the compound annual growth rate of 8.16% till 2030. This sector is highly unorganized and its nature. It is 87% unorganized and just 13% organized. Furniture sector employs more than 11 million people in India. India is the fifth largest producer and fourth largest consumer of furniture. However, India is ranked 16th in the list of global leading exporters of furniture, and its exports is valued at 2.86 billion US dollars in financial year 21-22. Countries like China, Vietnam, Germany, Italy, and some other are ahead of India in exports due to availability of affordable raw materials, organized sector, and low logistics costs. This was just a brief overview on this sector. But later today, when we meet our esteemed experts, we would like to discuss some of the challenges and how do we address them. Among some challenges, we intend to talk about absence of robust legislation, regulatory frameworks for the sector, lack of awareness about importance of designing, lack of sharp and expert skills, lack of hybrid business model, low disposable income, changing consumer preferences, and lack of technological interventions in this sector. So, without taking much time, we would straight away move on to the panel discussion regarding this sector and the challenges that I just mentioned and much more. I welcome and urge all our viewers to please post your questions in the Q&A or chat box so that our esteemed speakers can address each one of them in detail. So over to my team member, Mr. Shonit, to please introduce the panel for today. Thank you.
We express our gratitude to our Director General Sushma ma'am for her welcome remark and briefly talking about the introductory overview of the furniture and home decor sector. And now delaying further, time to invite and introduce our esteemed panelists for the session and also the moderator for the today's business clinic webinar. So first, I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Shrikant Iyer sir, who is the co-founder and chief executive officer of HomeLane.com. Welcome,
Hi.
sir.
Thanks,
Sir,
Shonit. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
pleasure to have you, sir. And now is the time
Likewise.
to invite our next panelist, who is Miss Aksha Sri Ma'am. She is the founder and director for Silp Karmana Tad Udyog Private Limited. Welcome,
Hello.
ma'am. Welcome to
Hi.
the panel.
Yeah.
And moving ahead, I would like to introduce and invite Mr. Romil sir, who is co-founder and general manager of Casa Art Decor Private Limited. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shonit.
It's a
Thank
privilege
you,
to
everyone.
now is the time to inviting our next panelist, who is Mr. Abhinav Singh, sir. Sir is the founder and CEO of Bluewood Furnitures. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the panel. And one more panelist will be joining in this webinar. So I just want to introduce him. He's Mr. Sanjay Punjabi, sir. Sir is founder and principal designer of Image and Shape firm. Welcome, Sanjay, sir. Welcome to the panel. I
I'm
guess
sorry, I'm not able
actually,
to.
sir is joining
Thanks,
from
Shonit.
Delhi
I will
airport,
be
so
back.
maybe some technical issue. So again, moving ahead, I would like to introduce the moderator of this session, who is India SME Forum President, Mr. Vinod Kumar, sir. Over to you, sir.
Hello and a warm welcome to all the speakers, all the viewers, and the audience today. It's such a pleasure to be back here this week with another very important topic. And I'd like to, take the opportunity to thank all our esteemed guests who have decided to share their experiences and their expertise with all of us. I think Sanjay ji is not able to join for some reason, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to get him on board the moment he's out from the airport. I think he's still at the airport. So, nevertheless, going forward, one of the things why we do a business clinic or uh, this entire series that has been put into place. We've when we've been going around the country, we've been talking to thousands of retailers, micro enterprises, small enterprises, and what has come to our notice is that most of them do not have a direction on what to do, and most of them are bereft of the knowledge, and a lot of them basically are afraid of what is happening in the market. On one side you have modern retail, which has sort of made inroads into normal trade and retail, and on the other side you also have e-commerce, where people feel afraid of what is going to happen in the future, and there are so many doubts people have. And while addressing all these, what we figure out is it is so very imperative for all of us to those that understand markets, those that are able to understand how things are moving, and what is happening in the market, for those to actually come forward and support those who may not understand, who may not know. And that is precisely why we have a business clinic that we organize. Here, what we are going to talk about is obviously offer your insights, the speakers' insights on how do we leverage the internet age, how do we leverage this post-COVID period where consumer behavior has changed, how do we leverage digital media, digital platforms, the internet, and e-commerce marketplaces for customer engagement, finally for sales, also effective marketing, branding, promotion techniques tailored specifically for this segment. So all of you are experts in this, and as well as the most recent, I would say, trends, emerging technologies, and finally best practices that a entrepreneur can employ to drive growth, efficiency, competitiveness, so that and they are finally able to future-proof themselves against whatever else is happening in the ecosystem. With that, thank you very much, all of you, for having taken the time off. We are really, really indebted for sharing, your experiences. I'm going to first go over to Shrikant ji, and Shrikant ji has served in various capacities, then set up this enterprise called Home Lane, which is I could easily say is the India's largest startup in the home decor segment, and it is just, I would say, 7 or 8 years old, but it is very large in terms of the impact that it has had. So, Shrikant ji, before starting your venture, what are the factors that you considered while placing your product in a particular market? And did you opt for an omni-channel mechanism, or did you go earlier with only a ground presence and then looked at other mechanisms? How was it?
First of all, Vinod, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to, share my thoughts and talk to all of you. Um, I'm looking forward to hearing my co-panelists and their views also. Going to your question, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. Just to give you a quick background, this is my fourth startup. By the way, Homelane just completed 9 years, so we are not 7 or 8 years old. We are 9 years old, slightly older. But yeah, we have been lucky enough that we've got customers who are buying from us consistently. We currently serve about 1,000 customers a month, which means that we hand over about 1,000 homes a month to customers across 22 cities in the country. That's the current scale that we are at now. Going back to your question on when I started the business, there were 2, 3 factors that were playing on my mind. The first factor was a consumer insight. I felt that the consumer would react positively to an organized player in the system, which could deliver something that they are not getting today. And to me, what they were not getting was predictability. When you work in the unorganized sector, typically what happens is you don't get predictable solutions. In terms of timeline, in terms of budget, etc. That was one factor which I was thinking about. The second one that I was thinking about was I was clear I didn't want to go into the product-based furniture. There were already players like Urban Ladder and Pepperfry who are already in the market. But I also felt that the made-to-order furniture, which is what Homelane does today, which is kitchens and wardrobes and entertainment units and etc., etc., uh, is a far less riskier business to do than a product business. In the product business, you make the product, you carry inventory, you hope that you sell it, you spend on digital marketing, and then you may not end up selling it, etc. So the risks are more. But here the cash flow behavior is much better because the customer pays you all the time in advance. It's a negative working capital business. And that was also one factor which really did attract me in terms of this particular subsector. The third one was that I was also clear that Indians consumers were becoming aspirational in metros and in even in small tier 2, tier 3 towns, and they wanted to move towards personalizing their own space. I mean, this was obviously before COVID. COVID has accelerated that. People are spending more time at home and more money on doing up their home. But even before that, my bet was that they would look at, so that these were the factors that I considered before starting home lane. In terms of channel, from day one, I was very clear that all the we would be a digital first company, which means that we would get customer leads online and we would consummate the leads offline, because we always wanted to do the customized home interiors business, and that is a large ticket size business. Today our ticket size per house is about 7 lakh rupees. So nobody is going to go and click and buy a 7 lakh rupee product online, especially
Yes.
something that's customized. So was very clear that it was omni channel from day one. By the way, was also very clear that customers will not buy before touching and feeling the finish. So we had a store from day one. When we started, we had one store. Today we have 50 stores, and we've launched a new brand called Do Up about a few months ago. We are going to have about 50 stores of Do Up in the next 1 year. So it clearly is a a click and mortar play, not brick and mortar, nor only a digital. It's a click and mortar
So,
play.
so
Yeah.
it's a omni-channel model that you've employed from day one, and you were very, very clear that you need to amalgamate these opportunities, both in terms of how you can access customers and how you can reach out to them, and gather their information, gather their requirements, and then create custom-made models specifically to suit their requirements. That was a very, very wise strategy. I'm extremely sure about it, and that's why you have succeeded beyond a lot of people that have been in this industry, and you've gone far beyond that. I at the same time, we have Romil here. Now Romil manufactures home decor products, which is here he does not have the opportunity to customize. So, or he makes a product, he makes extremely good designer products and then puts them out. So Romil, how has been your journey in the initial stages of your business? How do you ensure smooth operations, and are you omni-channel, or what is your model today?
Thank you, Vinod sir, for having me here. Thank you, everybody. Looking forward to hearing from everyone. So I think what Shrikant sir just now said, my story has been absolutely opposite to that. I don't belong to, I don't have any entrepreneur journey before I started this. I was actually into IT, working as a computer software engineer. So no background as such. Along with that, I mean, there was not even a hint of direction that okay, we should or I should go about and do this. Now, how I ended up in this is a very different kind of a story. In my journey, the best thing I would say is not knowing or kind of if you kind of elaborate that, staying foolish actually worked in favor for me because I was like relentless. I had no fear. So the thing I picked was something which I kind of came across on a daily basis in my hometown. So just a brief to everybody who's here on the panel. I I was working in UK for Aviva in the headquarters, and then suddenly I had to come back to India because of family reasons. I lost my dad, and that is why I am being. I thought I'll be in Udaipur, be with my family. So now Udaipur being my hometown, and I've seen this place having a lot of handicrafts and everything here. I was fascinated, but then I wanted to know what I can do around it. Now, what I have learned over the 10 years of my corporate job was that communications, uh, sometimes presenting the things in a more flashier way, because we had to, at the end, deal with customers who are uh, fine tuned to that. I'm talking about customers sitting in UK, US, Australia. So they like those stuff. And very sad to say, but that kind of, you know, hand holding is not provided to even basic artisans here. I mean, they would make the best out of anything, But at the same time, if we want to, if somebody comes and says the quote bana do, or sorry, make a quote out of it, make an invoice, they are not able to do that. So I mean, there was a big, as Shrikant sir also said, there is a lot of gap standardization sometimes missing from this industry, wherein you can tap into it. So I played my bets on it. I didn't even had a factory. I didn't had any experience on that. Very similar to Munna Bhai MBBS, I just kind of for first of my customer who came to see my space, I had to ask somebody that you sit out of your factory. I'll show this factory to him. If it works out, I'll give you the order. That is how it started. And I got the order. Second order, I started with my own factory, and it was a snowball effect after that. And I knew what the other, the customers wanted. They wanted something very standardized, somebody who could, work on their terms, understand all those terms, uh, work with various international guidelines, parameters to produce a certain thing. In our industry, machines don't take a lot of play. At the end of the day, it is still handicraft. So there is a lot of cherry picking involved. There's a lot of human intervention involved, and for that, customer has to have the right channel to kind of speak or kind of intervene wherever it is necessary. And we wanted to make sure that this is all covered under one umbrella, uh, keeping the rights of the artisans and keeping the rights of the customer both in the play.
Excellent. That gives us another angle. We have Abhinav ji here, and he took Bluewood into a direct to consumer furniture brand in India. Now, something that was unheard of some time back, and all of us were talking about whether certain things will be purchased by consumers directly or not, and how it is going to happen. Abhinavji, how was your consumer group responsive to what you were offering, and what were their demands? Did their buying habits keep changing rapidly? And how did you in the first place target them as a TG? And what sort of parameters did you ensure that you had in place that helped you succeed in your endeavor?
First thing first, thank you so much, Vinodji, for having me here
Pleasure,
on
pleasure,
this
sir.
reputed platform, basically. And it's really a privilege to share this platform with such amazing founders that I'm seeing right now. It's really great to hear from everyone's. Srikanji is definitely an industry pioneer, so it's really great to hear from him. Uh, See, having said that, I mean, we are different from what Homelane or Livespace is doing. So they're into custom furniture. We are into ready-made furniture, right? So it's a furniture which is off the shelf. It's a different segment, and it's as if I'm asking if I have to question answer the question that you have, it's a reality of the sector, right? So the consumers are demanding. They have evolving aspirations, as even Shikanji has mentioned. Aspirations are there. Uh, as Bluewood is a design-led organization, basically. So when I started this organization in 2014, even I didn't have much clue about this business because this is the first generation business for me. We actually launched a few product lines and we wanted to take them offline. Unfortunately, we could not find any offline stores ready to, kind of display our product lines. So that ways, e-commerce did really help us out because we could, immediately place our products and our products because they were designed that they were full of engineering. So we kind of, the pricing point were also not very high. They were all affordable pricing and designer products. So we could really find the traction pretty attractive in the initial phase of our business, and that gave us a lot of boost to continue doing what we were trying to do. Innovation was something that we were looking for at every phase of our business strategies, basically, be it products, be it processes, be it backward integration. Back then we didn't think of doing that, but now we are doing a great work in backward integration, whereby we are doing integration in terms of raw materials that initially we were importing from China. We're doing it in-house now. uh, so uh, Coming back to the question, basically, how do we identify our consumers? So we have to first define what exactly is our consumer base. I mean, who is going to be who we are going to serve, and we aspire to serve. So in our case, the consumers are more young. It's IT workforce, young couples. So we understood that their aspirations is, but they are always devoid of kind of funds. I mean, they will not want to invest so much at this phase of life when they're starting their careers, basically. So we understood, we went to Google's and Meta's or Amazon's to understand exactly what products are doing great in those platforms, understand the keyword research, doing the keyword analysis, understood what kind of an ASPs these products are doing. At that, on those days when we didn't have much funds in 2014, I'm talking about, so we are a very small factory of around like what 2,000 square feet or so, and we have very basic machineries. So we started doing some small keychain holders like wall shelves, and then when we saw, I mean, these products are getting picked up from the e-commerce stores as such. It gave us a lot of impetus, but at the same time, we were finding some reviews. We were seeing what consumer insights are coming. So it was really easy in e-commerce to understand what consumers are saying about a product and what all changes do we need to do in order to make sure that the products are rightly fit to the consumers. So I really believe in the 4P strategies when it comes to products. We really need to have a right product at the right price point with the right place. That is e-commerce for us. It's doing wonderfully well, and the promotion is absolutely has to be one of the strategy which is there. And see, product validation, when we say product validation, cannot come in a single iteration. So in our case, we do internal iterations when we do product design. We do a lot of engineering at our end. So design and engineering is an iteration. It goes through meticulous cycles in our design centers initially before we launch that in the market, in fact. And even after we launch it in the market, and when we see e-commerce consumers, what they're saying about us, we again go through the same meticulous cycle in order to make sure that the product is getting improved. I mean, we internally call it as a kaizen. It's increment. It's a Japanese term basically, whereby incremental innovation, incremental improvement in the product line has to be done, right? So we do that Kaizen process in and out every day. Whatever products we may be having in the market, we keep on improving them. So that has given a lot of scale for the company from 2014 till now. We've grown almost like 20x from those days when we're doing very little sales actually.
Excellent. That takes me, that's another angle of the entire thing. Also let me share, Abhinavji's company got this award called Flipstar, right? You're one of the few companies that have got this Flipstar award as being the star sellers in Flipkart. I think it was 2 years back, or I don't remember whether it was last year or 2 years. Yeah, 1.5 years back. So, that has been the sort of journey from where we all of us used to feel that we can only buy furniture in a showroom. We can only go there, and there's no other way. We have to see the entire thing ourselves, to this world where even in the last one of the last sessions that we had, we talked about a completely automated meta-based VR environment where you can see the product, place it in your size that you have, and then decide the color, decide the hue, everything, and then you come back and say, this is precisely what I want, and you get that in terms of CAD drawings and everything, and people are able to then take it forward. So there are amazing things that are happening. At the same time, we have rural India, and we have this huge national asset, which I say, which is bamboo products. And Akshaya, is one of our emerging entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So Akshaya, I'm going to come next to you. You founded Silpa Karman, and why do you found it? What is the research that you undertook in terms of which customer segment? What is the product, and how are you going to take that product and place it? And will there be profits or not? How did you take that decision?
Thank you for having me, first of all, and it's a pleasure being amongst you also. Thank you. Um, then we were conceptualizing Silkaman. Since I come from an export background, I knew the importance of data and consumer profiling, building a persona. So we thought and at that time, bamboo was not the kind of rage that it is today. So there was still, some groundbreaking that we were supposed to do. So in order to do that, we thought that we will build our own data. And what we did initially, before we uh, brought Silk Carmen into play was, we listed out certain products on various e-commerce websites. We partnered with offline stores. We did a lot of ground level listings in various cities of the country. And then when we got all the data, we categorized it, filtered it, in terms of products, in terms of geography, in terms of consumer profiling, like who are our consumers, what is their age group, what is their income group, what do they look like, where do they shop. And it was so surprising to see that some products that would sell very well offline would not sell well online. And some products that, flew away from stores online did not perform that well in an offline store. So at that point, what we did was, because we were working with artisans and our core objective was to be able to provide sustainable income to everybody, we did not have the opportunity to, filter the product. We had to ensure that every cluster has at least 1 to 10 products to work with, so that there is sustainable income that can be provided to them. So what happened was, we categorized two broad segments. There one was product segment that flies away like crazy. We were always short of those products. They never stay in the warehouse. And then there was the next segment, which was very niche and specific. There were only a handful of clients that want to buy it, but they were okay giving us a premium to buy those products. So once we categorized these products, we knew the geography, we knew the customers, and then we built up both online and offline sales strategies. So online we have products that sell well there, and offline we partnered. So we do not have our own stores, but we partnered with various stores to sell our products under our brand name. And so thankfully for us, both of these strategies worked very well. And because that was my core motive from the day one, that no product should stay still in the warehouse, because if it stays in the warehouse, we have to pay artisans from our pocket, and I will be short on the working capital, and I couldn't have afforded it at that point of time. So after the strategy came into place and we were able to penetrate the market positively, the next step in order to be able to become profit making was to capacity building. So we not just work on the sales channel. So say if we were selling about 1,000 units a day on our website, we multiplied the vendors. We were present and we handpicked these e-commerce websites. It was not that we were selling everything everywhere. So we chose products that were supposed to be sold on or sold on Amazon. We chose products that were supposed to be sold on Decor or Amala. So all our partnerships were also strategic, that helped us boost our per day sales. And the same capacity building was done on ground for our production, where we split, like it was said earlier, that availability of raw material is a challenge, and in bamboo it is even more so a challenge because it's very seasonal. So we categorized and we created a supply chain which was then segmented. So initially it was all done together. Then we segmented it so that we are never short of uh, raw materials, and we have a separate packaging and stitching unit so that the products can be done with utmost quality. And you say 5,000 pieces or 5 lakh pieces, we can do it all. So that's how we build our own strategy. So the steps are categorized, you strategize, and then you build your own sales and production channels, and hopefully you'll be profitable by it.
Excellent. So, there we are. So, I'm going to go back to Shrikantji. Shrikantji, when we talk about, on one hand, we have this intense competition at times in terms of what is coming in from China, what is coming from other Southeast Asian markets. And then there are people within the country who are actually no longer actually getting stuff made here, but they're just importing stuff and trying to sell it here. And at the same time, we feel there is enough of a market in India with this burgeoning, middle class, which is continuously buying real estate, homes for newer families. There's so much of a demand. At the same time, when what we find is a lot of the furniture makers in India feel threatened by every small thing, and there's lots of people who keep coming and saying that I'm unable to survive. There's too much competition, margins are extremely low, my raw material is an issue, and I can't compete online. What do you say to people like that?
I say don't make excuses. I feel that a TAM in India is not really a problem. Um, I really feel that you need to explain your proposition very well, very lucidly, very easily to the customer, so that it's easy to understand for the customer. I'll give you an example. In our own industry, there have been enough players, right? I mean, it's not like we were the ones who started the first or something like that. There have been enough players who've been doing modular furniture for many, many years, even before us. But the problem that we identified was that in for the middle class Indian home consumer, we saw that predictability was a big issue. And specifically, I'm talking of predictability, which means predictable quality, predictable timeline, more importantly, which means that I need to get back my home when I want it back. And the third one is predictable cost, which means that I cannot have something like Hanuman's tail, which keeps growing all the time. It needs to be fixed and it has to stay there. We said if we can be a company who can offer these three things, then it's a very strong USP to have for the Indian consumer. And you have to, how do you now pass on that messaging to the customer, right? So we came up with saying, can I quantify any of these statements? I'm a believer as a marketer. If I can quantify things that I'm going to say, I mean, I'll just give you another different example. Domino's Pizza, right? They said in 30 minutes, if you don't get your pizza, it's free. If we all remember that, they are the largest pizza brand in the country and they've done extremely well. People like predictability. That was really the USP that I counted on. And I said, if we don't deliver your home in 45 days after we take the keys from you and you finish the design, we will pay you rent for every day of delay. And that's what we've been continuing to do since then. So you need to, like I said, look at a consumer insight, define it properly, and address it in the simplest possible terms for them to understand that TAM is not an issue in our country. I mean, we are so large, such a large market, real estate is booming. People love to buy their own homes and do up their homes. They love to personalize, all of the above. So to me, it's a question of identifying the problem and communicating your USP to the customer in a very simple but effective way.
Completely agree. Completely agree. In fact, we have Sanjay ji, who has also managed to join us from the airport lounge, I presume. Sanjay ji, if you can please unmute yourself. You have a wide experience in the furniture, home decor industry over 30 years. So, if you were to, let's say, summarize, how this industry has changed over the years and what sort of opportunities lie ahead, what would be your observations? Sanjay ji, you need to unmute.
I hope,
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead. We can hear you.
yeah. So because of low bandwidth, probably that I have to manage with two instruments. Give me one sec. Okay. Uh,
We can hear you loud and clear,
can you
sir.
hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. No. You have muted the one which was working. So please unmute the one which has the video on.
Now,
Yes,
can you
yes,
hear me now?
yes, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So you wanted to see. Basically, I am a consultant specifier, and we have been in this field for more than 30 years. So, as an observer and as a key opinion leader, we have seen the markets up and down. We have seen that a lot of things had come place. We have so there are the multiple things that we have observed in the market. So number one, that first of all, we believe that market is changing so fast, and market is taking a clue from lot of international parameters, and those parameters play a very important role these days. So to start with that, what we have seen that uh, camera played the important role, the urbanization played the important role, then electronic media like films, they played an important role. Purchase power parity has played an important role, and so far as that lower middle class become the middle class and gradually shifted to the upper middle class, and that more members working in a family, they influence that we need now that our home to be a beautiful. They seek that that we need to spend more on the home furniture. They require that I mean earlier that people used to shift without any changes to be made in the home, and later on then slowly and gradually they spend the money. But these days that without spending a money or without finishing that in a proper way, no one shifts the home. Or so far as that institution is concerned, there also that we find a lot of changes took place. I mean the schools we take, offices we take, the 10 years before or 20 years before, what was the luxury? Nowadays it is not a luxury. For example, AC was a luxury 20 years back. Nowadays that it is a need for that hour. The dining table was not there before few years. Nowadays that without dining table nobody would like to eat. So these are the changes which took place, and which makes that the market more not exactly volatile, but that more demands are coming from the nooks and corners, and we need to cater to the market in a different way. The urbanization, I mean, the people are shifting to the bigger places, and also that certain more things also we have noticed that Swiggy and Zomato, for that matter, the kitchen in urban area a few years back having a more than 20 feet of the kitchen platform, I mean to say, and nowadays that less than 10 feet of the kitchen is that. So we are converting kitchen because of the real estate prices on a high. People talk about modularity, but then modularity does not take place in many aspects of it. Uh, but in kitchen, unfortunately, it has started taking place. So that changes what we have observed is, I think, that influence the market. While going forward, probably we feel anything. Yeah.
Excellent, sir. So I'm going to go back to Abhinavji. Now, Abhinavji, you see, we are talking about utilizing the digital mechanism. You fully utilize the digital mechanism, e-commerce, websites, marketplaces, and all of that. Now, going forward, uh, what do you suggest people that are in the business of furniture, home decor, and all? What sort of digital solution should they imbibe or use to create an error-free customer relationship, uh, as well as acquiring customers, offering them the service? And what is your vision as far as this is concerned? And how can you please share some an outline on that?
That's a very good question, in fact, because see, in entrepreneurship, we have to make sure that the business has to be sustainable. And I'm a firm believer of technology basically since day one. So we are a technology adopter since day one. We have acquired a lot of tools in technologies in order to make sure that we are serving our customers well, because it is a B2C organization. It's a B2C customer base that we have. So we generally leverage a CRM software called as Zoho, and for the customer care also we're using Zoho Desk per se. That those softwares do really help us to kind of serve the customers right from buying till the time if they're having some issues with the order, or let's say if they need installation. So that everything is connected. All these parts of the buying process is knitted into the single software basically. Apart from that, a company is supposed to be kind of leveraging a lot of technologies in their processes, like I said in the earlier part of my conversation also, in fact. So we are generally a Microsoft environment we have in the organization. So we use Teams to communicate internally for whatever we need to serve the customers, as well as the planner to plan our activities well. So technology is very, very much required in order to make sure that we are ahead of the curve, and the customers do not feel the pain that if you have some questions and it is going manually to your teammates, and if they are not able to kind of serve the customers, the entire customer experience goes for a toss. So that's how we kind of serve our customers basically.
In fact, one of the major questions that most people have when I talk to them at the ground level is, they feel that they need to have a lot of patience. It's impossible to sell on platforms. And even though there are a huge number of people available on all these platforms, including Flipkart, Amazon, and all of them, but it takes a lot of effort. One has to market, one has to promote, and so on and so forth. And not everybody is cut out for that. So people get disheartened out at the very early stages. What is your experience, and what would you suggest, Abhinavji?
I really feel that ways. Again, coming back to that initial conversation, the four P's has to be extremely, extremely. You have to work on those things. You have to create your own niche. The competition is definitely very high in these marketplaces, specifically because furniture and decor industry has a very low barrier to entry in this segment, basically. So you would find a lot of people coming in on a regular basis to enter these markets. But in case if you want to, cut your mark here, you have to create a niche. You have to decide exactly what do you want to do in this business, right? What do you want to be called for? What do you want to be known for actually? So if you want to be known for a low price, you have to work in this thing that you have to go for the sourcing of the right product lines, which will make sure that your business thrives. We thrive for design and engineering. So we actually, at the core of the company, we do a lot of design and engineering in our product line, basically. So creating a niche is extremely important in order to sustain these businesses in e-commerce per se, because it's an open market, right? Anybody can enter this e-commerce segment anytime.
Excellent. I would like to have some response from Akshaya also on this. She's worked out as a solo entrepreneur, set it up, and then looked at all of this, the entire gamut of this herself. So, as a solo entrepreneur, what do you feel, Akshaya? What is it that people need to look at? I mean, patience is one of the first things. When I always say, when you go on to e-commerce, you need to have patience and a very clear focus. So, apart from that, what else?
So I think first thing that people should look out for is building a good team. For me, because I was new to both bamboo and the geography that I was working in, it wouldn't have been possible to build what I have built without the help of support of the team that I'm working with. So first is team building. You need to know whom are you going to work with, and this has to be on both the ends, both on your sales end and on your production end. The next thing that I think is very essential is to understand what value system are you going to take forward with the brand that you want. So if you are going to list products only because you want to sell that product and that product usually sells well, that is a separate game in comparison to if you're trying to build a brand that has a story, that has a background. So understanding what kind of a value system you want to create around your brand and sales channel, and what is the kind of procurement strategy you're going to adopt. Based on these two things, I think you'll not only be able to understand the customer and the market better, it will also give you a very concrete timeline in your head, because once you know this is what I intend to do, you'll have to spend more time into maybe building a brand. And if it is just about selling a product that you can mass produce, then that will have a more motivation coming from you know sales rather than brand story or customer feedback. So once you understand exactly what value you're going to build around your brand and product, and the team that you have, it will become much easier for you to push forward.
I'm going to go over to Romil also. Romil, one of the other very key issues people have had is inventory. How do you manage inventory? How do you know what is going to sell more? How do you keep that with those guys? Otherwise, you don't get your product across to people at the right time. How do you understand or predict demand? And especially when you have products which are designed by you and put out there, and how do you anticipate what is going to sell more?
Right. I will mix this answer with your previous question, which was that what do you do because there is a lot of competition in the market and you're always kind of edgy that whether it is the right time to enter, is this the right product and all. So for that, I feel online is not the only space you should venture. What we have done, I mean, is something wherein we from the point where we don't have a factory, from a point where we don't have our in-house production, we end up exporting things. Now, how does that happen? It's a very streamlined and a sincere process. That is again addressing to your question that how do I manage inventory? Now, when you are doing a B2B trade or when you are from the B2B side of the business, you don't have to actually have inventory. You should have a process to produce what your prototype looks like. Once you have that process and everything in place, and the right customer, the right pricing, the right strategy, that one piece of product, may it be table, may it be anything, can land you a one or maybe multiple containers of orders. That's what we also did. So right now, with my business, I don't have any inventory. We don't make any inventory. Our prototypes are made. They are shown to the customers physically, which is now reducing from earlier 80% to now only 30 to 40% of our customers visit us and see the products physically. Imagine adding containers to your sales pipeline by just showing them a digital design of that particular product. I don't invest in any inventory. All I invest is in standardizing the process, standardizing the raw material. So what products are made out of that raw material? Maybe very different designs, but the core raw material is common. So stock that. When we buy in bulk, we get price incentives there also. And then once the out of let's say 10 designs I've shared, two get shortlisted. With only two designs, one container can be filled up. And again, you get prepayments, you get 30 to 50% at advance before even starting your work, and you get 100% of balance clear before even the container you know the other yard. So it's a very different take on this whole industry, wherein you don't have to worry about how many fishes are there in this particular sea. You just change the sea, and there you can become a very from a small fish to a shark probably.
I know the conversation is extremely interesting. There are some people who are posting questions, so I'm going to also take some questions from the audience. So, one of the first questions, this is from Asia. It says that, Akshaya, how do you differentiate your products in terms of design to attract customers?
Okay, so sometimes this is a very important question because as brand owners or maybe entrepreneurs, we get emotionally attached to certain products and designs, and we feel, oh my God, this is so unique. I really love it. And this happens with me a lot of times. But that is the time when you have to keep your emotion aside and ask your customer what is it that they like about the product. So I do this a lot of time, and what we have at Silverman is that whenever a customer answers a feedback call or a feedback form, and we get an insight from them, we give them reward coupons and purchase coupons. But what it helps us in understanding is that maybe for me, the point of view that I have for a product is very different from what the customer looks at, and what value does it bring to the customer is more important. So in order to differentiate and create that USP, I don't build it from me. I rather build it from customer's point of view. So that, and sometimes our products are maybe similar to what is there in the market, but because a story is woven around what customer wants to see and address, and the value that it attracts to them, we are able to outbeat our competition. So in order to differentiate products, it's not about design and product as much as it is about the value that the customer sees in the product.
I have another question, which is from the Zoom platform. Now, this question is open. I think maybe Shrikant ji will can take it or Sanjay ji can take it. It's asking about, there is a trend where people want to change their furniture every 2, 3, or 4 years. So, is the industry going to move to a rental model rather than, outright sales? So this is talking about the future. Look at this guy who's asking a very futuristic question.
Okay,
Shrikantji?
so yeah, I don't mind taking a shot at it because we actually are launching a new product slash service for this in the next month. So I'm happy to share some of that right now on this forum. So the website is not yet launched, but you would see rapzap.com, which will come from the Homelane stable, which will be launched in about a month from now. When I mean rap, WRAP, ZAP.com. So what we are trying to do there is exactly cater to this customer, which is basically what we are seeing is a lot of millennials and maybe even slightly older people um, want to change their look every 5 years. Maybe 2, 3 years is a bit much, but every 5 years, especially very difficult to do it for the kitchens and the wardrobes and basically the fit outs in your house. So we are launching this product, which basically will transform this. What we are telling the customer is, you know what, we are going to book you at a hotel, at a resort near your house for the weekend. By the time you come back, you have a new house, pretty much. And you can pick and choose from the various shades that are there, and you're not changing the carcass, you're not changing the back end, but you're actually changing the way it looks completely. I'm very, very, very excited. Actually, I'm not never been excited about any other product in the last 9 years as much as I am about this. I think it's perfect. It's going to cost about 20% of what a new product will cost you. It's also going to be done over the weekend, like I told you. So you're not going to need to take leave. You don't need to displace yourself. It's not like killing yourself while doing renovation of your house and moving out of the house and ordering Swiggy all the time and all of that. You don't have to do. So it's going to be convenient, cost effective, and I think give a lot of value to the customer. So yeah. These products are existing already in the West, but for some reason in India, it doesn't seem to be popular. But yeah, watch out for this coming in from us in the next. You'll see this launch in the next month or so. We think that it has a lot of potential um, in India. Yeah.
Excellent.
I
So,
like to
we got breaking news information here that Homelane is going to get into this segment. And thank you to the viewer who actually put in this question for everybody else. Anybody else would like to add
yeah.
as far as this
No,
segment? Yes, Akshaya.
yes. So what we are doing at Superman, and this is very exciting for us also, is that we are giving a buyback option to our customers who are purchasing heavy furniture from us. So say 2 years, 3 years down the line, if you want to switch to something else, you're going to buy back that furniture because we obviously have different ways to use bamboo, reuse bamboo into something else, and we're going to give them a new piece of furniture and at a discounted price, which is obviously they have given us the furniture back to give them a 25 to 30% discount. So I think this is something which is going to be very prominent, and every furniture brand or company must look at it from that angle. And if you're using sustainable materials, then buying back is a great option.
Excellent. I have another question which I have here. I'd like to post that. Omkar says, I'd like to ask Romilji, are there any plans or strategies you are considering to gradually integrate elements of a hybrid model into your business? Or are you going to stay this way you are?
No, no. Of course, there are always challenges we are facing, and we are trying to integrate various sales channels. But here, with our business, since we are into a very niche and luxury segment, the whole play of the things is the moment I drop the prices of my product, I won't sell them. So even if I know I have produced it for 10,000, I have to kind of benchmark it to 70, 80,000, maybe lakh or above, then only the perceived value is there. And that is a boon for us. Now, again, we don't want to enter directly into the retail market. The reason is I have kind of understood it that way that I want to make a lot of distributors around rather than me playing around solo.
Sure.
If I can have a network of people, uh, that that gives me that impetus to scale, multi-folds. Because if they see me on the platform, they are not going to be distributing my products because they see me as a competitor. So we have already started that, and again, in India, it is little in the novice state, but we have started it in US. We have presence in Italy, so there distribution is working very well. In India, we are working with various players to distribute our products. So yes, there is a penetration, there is some hybrid model we are following, but directly onto e-commerce, competing with various other brands in terms of home space, that is something which we are not looking at. Because I think luxury, when we speak about luxury, it will stay brick and mortar, it will stay more of an experience rather than just the product alone. I mean, a lot of big brands have started uh, coming out of the digital space and started moving back on, to printed media and printed marketing and all, because that is where the customer gets that exclusivity sometimes. So for us, we are staying that course and trying to figure out that area of our business.
I have another question here from Hetwi Shrikant sir. How do you gather feedback from your customers to understand their changing needs and desires?
So we do two things. We not only take feedback from our customers, but we also take feedback from customers, from prospects who don't buy from us. In fact, I feel that that gives us more insight than from customers who actually buy from us.
Right.
Typically after you have already bought your home decor from somebody, I mean, you're not going to say too many bad things against them. But if you're asking for feedback from somebody who's not chosen your product, you can actually get more solid feedback, more straightforward feedback from them. So what we've done so far is we've served about 35,000 customers in the last 9 years. We have actually collected NPS from about 27,000 of them in the last. So we take that feedback extremely seriously, especially the detractors, the ones who didn't like what we have done. This is from our customers. Apart from that, if we have served 35,000 customers, we have not served who have met us for like 2-3 hours together with our designer. We have met about 2 lakh customers, about 6 times more, uh, who have not bought from us, who met us but didn't buy from us. So out of that 2 lakh customers, we can't get feedback from too many, but we have feedback from about 25% of them, about 50,000 customers. So we take that feedback very, very seriously, be it in terms of our pricing, be it in terms of our catalog, be it in terms of us needing to change any aesthetic part of the design, etc., functionality. During COVID, pets became a big rage.
Yes.
Uh, and people started doing a lot of things in their house for pets. So there was an ask saying, why are you not increasing your catalog so that I can, I don't know, make my dog more comfortable. It was a real
Yes.
ask. I mean, so we
Yes.
had to
I
actually
understand.
do that once we got that feedback. So we take feedback both from people who buy from us and more importantly from prospects who don't buy from us.
I've already crossed almost an hour, so I'm going to just go to all of you, gentlemen and the lady, and ask you. There's so many questions I'm getting. I don't think even if we stay here for another 3 hours, we can still, try to answer every one of them. But majority of the questions are about what in your mind is the strategy that a home decor entrepreneur or a furniture entrepreneur should imbibe for staying in business for the next 4 or 5 years. And I'd request all of you to please give us a answer from the heart, because most of the entrepreneurs that we have here on the in the audience are people that are going to depend on your advice and take it very, very seriously. So Shrikantji, will you start, please?
Sure. Sorry, can you just repeat the question? I didn't. You are
I
saying what is the one piece of advice that you want me to give
um,
to?
yes, two entrepreneurs from the home decor and the furniture segment on what is it that they should do in the next to survive in the next 4 or 5 years, compete in the next 4 or 5 years, and obviously grow their business?
Right. I'll tell you one piece that I've learned over the last 30 years of my entrepreneurship. For you to stand out as a business, it's easier for you to choose fewer things to do and go deeper with them. Like Romil was talking about being, addressing the luxury segment and only doing that, right? So very, very clear on what he does not want to do, which means that address any segment. Acha, किसी को भी खरीदना है, I mean, anybody wants to buy, I'm there for you to. That's actually the wrong thing to do. What Romel is doing is perfect, according to me, which is identifying a segment which is underserved today and only doing that. What we tend to do normally is we tend to say yes to too many things, or try to do too many things at the same time, or address too many markets at the same time. And us, when we start off, all of us are small businesses. Very, very difficult for us to cater to do everything. So, like I say, don't be something to everybody, but be a very important vendor to a few people. That's more than enough for you to do. So, I would say focus on fewer things. Don't go wide, go deep. I think that's very important as an entrepreneur in home decor, in my opinion.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much for that. Sanjay ji, your comments on and feedback on what is it that entrepreneurs from India should look at doing and not doing. Obviously, both I think are important.
Correct. So according to me, that turnkey solution is the next in thing for the homemaker, and probably that one need to understand about that how fast they can deliver. That's number two, and multifunction is that the new thing probably going to be in. So the real estate prices when they are going up, so they need to accommodate the more functions into a one furniture. So that could be the one thing that I'm looking for. Yeah.
Multifunctional furniture. Excellent. Abhinavji, sorry.
Yeah, so I think I'll add to what Shrikantji just mentioned. I think it's like you have to choose your war, right? So there can be multifaceted things like Shrikantji is doing or Sanjay is doing turnkey and home customizations. Romil is doing exports. He doesn't want to get into B2C segments because definitely it's a very saturated market, and as well as you can't expect to have such margins like selling a 10,000 cost of product to around 1 lakh, right? You cannot get that into a B2C segment as such. So for all the entrepreneurs, they have to understand what their core competence is, right? You have to ask your heart out, what is your ikigai? What is your calling, right? If you're made for something, you have to bring about the business around that thing, right? If you have a vision to get into e-commerce, you have to understand that is my vision, and you have to collect and kind of make a team around it. If you want to do customization, and if that is something that you want to choose as a war as a business, you have to collect a set of people around that. So that set of business is very, very important. You can't be doing everything, and it is not possible practically. It is a for sure getting killed in the whole game. So laser focus into something that you want to do is very, very crucial at the start. There may be it may be very taxing in the beginning, right? When you choose a business strategy for you, you might want to give up, very soon, because things don't turn around as the way you want in the initial years, right? So you have to have the perseverance. You have to have that persistence in your approach towards developing your business. It's like a plant, right? You put a seed right today, it might convert into a sapling after some time, and probably a plant later on. You can't
Very correct.
expect to have a plant overnight. So that is something that is very important, to choose the war, and then you have to complete yourself into developing that into a good plant actually.
Excellent. Akshaya,
Okay, so from me, I think I suggest everybody who's in the home decor and interior space, try to look at technological integrations that will help you streamline your production as well as your sales channel. In our case, one of our best-selling products are the curtains and the blinds. So, and we also get a lot of customization requests for them. And in order to cater to those audiences, we have used AI to build SOPs and forms which can help us cater to the clients better, take their requirements easily, and provide them invoices and quotations in a more stricter manner, because there is a very small window where you can convert a client who's looking for customization into someone who actually purchases something. So look at technological integration both at your supply angle and at your sales angle. Even for our supply chain, we have inventory management system, we have quality management system, so that we can periodically get data and address to those pain points which may become a problem in the future. So look at the technology integration that can help you smoother your production and your sales channels.
Excellent. Romil, feedback from you, please.
Yes, I mean, staying on course with one thing, as the panel has mentioned, I mean, yes, that is very important. One very distincting factor which I would want to share with everybody would be focusing on international trends and designs, because our society is quickly shaping into a audience which looks global. So we are the people now who's watching, international series. We are the people who are watching, TV series, Hollywood movies. We follow the shows, international shows, and everything. And these trends pass on from there. So I'll quickly share a very quick story. Like what we make here in furniture, which goes back to US or Middle East or Australia, that is part of 2 or 3 years of research in terms of the fashion which would have played in 2020 or 21. Because what happens on the runway translates into what happens on your home and furnishing sector later on, and then that transposes into various design trends. So every year, companies like WGSN and they come out with trendy colors, the colors of the year. Even Asian Paints have that. So whatever they come up with, the furniture has to be complementing to that. Also with various materials. So there are material researches happening. In India, Dr. Kaustubh Sen Gupta, one of the leading material researchers and trend analysts, follow those people. So they will give you insights of what's going to come up next in terms of material, what color is coming up. When you stay ahead of that trend, when you start making products which are there in that other region, you want to feel the same way sitting in your home. And producing them is not a big deal. It's just the design language, just the use of certain materials, and you can pretty much make a home look like something out of California or Florida. Florida, West
Very
Palm
correct.
Beach. I mean,
Very
yeah.
correct. In fact, I'd like to say this, that I always believe one thing in India, especially, there are millions of families that start family, and millions of people that start families every year. All of these guys are from the age group of 25 to 45. All of them have highly disposable incomes available. So if one can focus on this segment and look at where they are available, Romil just talked about Netflix and Prime Video and all of the areas where people go, wherever they are available on the internet, on social media, wherever they are available. If we are able to catch them, understand their language, and talk to them in their language, I think that itself is a very, very big opportunity in India. And this segment, I would say, for continuously for years, this segment can give us so much if we are just able to innovate a little bit in whatever we are doing. Obviously, we have the other side of design, which is the craftsmen, which have been doing the same things over and over again. There are still customers for that, but you have this hugely, I would say, youth brigade, which is now hugely international, and they are exposed to everything around the world. And there are, one of the things that I was reading about the other day was majority of the people that are traveling outside India these days are youngsters that take off on international travel, sabbatical, holidays, and so on and so forth. And that is the segment that is ready to spend money, that is ready to get in the best from around the world, and they don't mind paying for it either upfront or in installments, whatever be the case. It's all about us trying to figure out what makes the mayor work, and take it forward from there. I'm extremely thankful to all of you, especially Shrikant sir, Sanjay ji, Abhinav ji, Romil, Aksha, for sharing all your valuable, extremely valuable experiences. I hope and desire that, I really sincerely hope that all the people that are the almost 260 entrepreneurs who have logged in today, they are able to grasp this. Also, wherever you feel your questions are still unanswered, we'd be very very happy to take the questions back to the experts and get you answers wherever possible, to whatever extent possible. So please, um, do send in your feedback on today's episode. Also, what we can add, what is your perspective on it, and anything that we might have missed out. With that, thank you very much, gentlemen and lady, for being here today. It was such a pleasure. I mean, such learned people, such experience, and I think in on the screen today we have loads and loads of success. So I'm just hoping that all of you continue to be as successful in the future. I think more successful, I would say. And anything that the India SME Forum is required, we'd be very very happy to support. Thank you very much, and I'm going to push us back to Atif at the studios.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you all the speakers, panelists for coming in the session and enlighten the audience with your valuable remark about the topic. And you all have talked about very important things like how to do this omni-channel presence and how to reach your customer. So we are really thankful for your valuable opinion on this sector. And we are also looking that for any future webinar or interactions, we have you at ISF. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the panelists.